So, if you're feeling stuck, I feel like these following tips will help you out. And the main tip is basically you just need to get things really, really organized to the point where you have very, very concrete steps of what you need to do. And right now, I guess to use myself as an example, I have been feeling a little bit like lost in terms of what I need to do next. I came off of a challenge that I sort of stopped midway because I felt like I didn't really like it that much. And it was kind of disappointing because, yeah, you can find videos about it, I guess, but I don't want to talk about it here. But I've been working on my audiobook consistently, and it's sort of like just autopilot. And I also mentioned in a previous video how you have to be working on some things that excite you. So I'm trying to figure out like what that is, like what is going to excite me and what should the next step be. And well, I basically started this whole like new approach to this channel where I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm still feeling kind of overwhelmed and lost about what the first step is and feeling a little bit stuck on that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. This is the video I'm making right now, but this is kind of the list and there's no priority order right now. So that's the first thing I need to do is sort of just like have a priority order of what I need to do because the steps need to be very, very clear. Otherwise, you will get into that spot where you're kind of like stuck. What do I do next? And you just don't really know. Like it's too ambiguous. And one of the things that I felt like I wanted to do first actually was to just get rid of things that I have already organized because it's a good idea to have just like one sort of thing for the category, or like for instance YouTube is the category, one list of the things you need to do. Otherwise you're going to be like, I need to do that and then that and then that and then that, like all at the same time. It's going to get too overwhelming. But for me, I have like two different lists. One is called impact, where I do the biggest projects. Right now that's the audiobook. And then the second one is YouTube, where I do projects that are more like stuff that I really want to do, not necessarily for money or anything like that, but just because I enjoy it and I like it. So this is the YouTube sphere, or the adventure sphere as I call it. And in it, I have a list, a lot of things that I want to work on. And I have a priority order right here. So this is what I should be spending my time on. But some of these things, I need to look at this list again and decide if I want to actually do it. That's the first step, is look at the list. If you have a list, probably everyone has some sort of list out there of just things they want to do. Like take a look at it again and be like, do I actually want to make this, or do I actually want to do this? Like still, if yes, keep it on the list. If not, then just erase it. So I've done that plenty of times, and it just helps with like clarifying things and making you feel a little less stuck. And then once you do that, you decide on an order, a priority order. And it doesn't have to be like too much, right? It can just be like, okay, the first one, the second one, and the third one. And then after you're done with the first one, you decide again what the next priority is. Ideally, do the second one. If not, you can, move something else to be the priority, but like you did have like somewhat of a priority list, but you don't want it to be like massive, right? You don't want to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because at that point, it gets really, it gets hard for you in your head to be like, am I going to actually stick with this in this order? Or is it just going to change in the future because I feel differently about something? So that's why for me, I just do it up to 1 and 2. And then like 4 is sort of like, oh, it's higher priority than the rest, but it isn't necessarily going to be done next. It's just something I want to keep at the top because, yeah. And then that's what I'm going to do for a little bit, is try to get rid of some of these, not necessarily like all of it, but as much as I can, like as much as I feel like I can do right now, because I don't like it when something stays on the list for too long. Because if it stays on the list for too long, you eventually lose motivation to actually do it in the first place. So if possible, if you just like have a lot of time on your hands, I guess, like what you could do is, well, I guess it depends on what you're doing. So if you already like, let's say you work full time, and then for the rest of your time, you can either do something like this. So your full time work is probably like the impact sphere for you. For impact sphere for me is the audiobook right now. I'm working on that, and then I also use that time to do my freelance work. And then the adventure sphere is my side project sort of sphere, where I spend other time to do this stuff. But if like you didn't have full time work, or you didn't have like an impact project type of thing, then you could be doing two different projects at once. Is it's sort of like up to you to decide, like depending on how much time you have on your hands. Because I also find like you can't do too much of this same thing, otherwise it leads to burnout. Like for the impact project, for instance, my audiobook stuff, I feel like I can only do about 4 hours of stuff, not like because I'm physically incapable or mentally incapable of doing more, but because I have actually done like 2 days where I did like 8 hour session and a 10 hour session, and then I felt terrible like on the third day. I felt like I didn't want to do anything anymore. So it's better to like space it out and maintain that like consistency and energy versus like doing way too much and then like feeling exhausted and burnt out from it. Is how I see it, or at least that's what I've noticed in myself. Is if I spend way too much time on like editing, for instance, then eventually I just get so tired of it that I just don't want to do any of it anymore for any period of time. So doing just a little bit, like an hour or so per day of editing, is good enough. I think I can do more than an hour, maybe like 2 to 3 hours, and that's it. And like nothing more than that. Otherwise, I'm going to start burning out. And that's why I need to make money faster so I can outsource editing. But that's a problem for my own. But that's pretty much it. In terms of what to do if you're feeling stuck, this is a good first step. Reorganize, and then just decide on a priority order of what you need to do and list out the steps very, very, very clearly. And with that, we have this video done. So hopefully that helps some of you guys out there. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.